Order, the House is resumed for the extended sitting. I call on Government Orders of the Day numbers 1 and 2.
Maraeroa A and B blocks claim settlement bill, third reading. Maraeroa A and B blocks incorporation bill, third reading.
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
Carry on.
I beg your pardon, the Honourable Tariana Turia.
Mr Speaker, I move that the Maraeroa A and B blocks claim settlement bill and the Maraeroa A and B blocks incorporation bill be now read a third time. Kia koutou o Ngāti Rere Ahu, hoki anō rā kia raukawa mania poto tūwhare tō hoki. Ngā mihi kia koutou I tēnei wiki o te reo Māori. Ka hoki wakamuri ki ngā wakaro ki tērā pāpa a Charlie Wehi. Kua hinga ngā tau kua hipa. Koia te kai kreme tuatai mo te paraka nei. I tukuna rātou te whānau o ngā kreme kia Piripi Crown I te wā o tōna matinga. Nā reire te matua Charlie koia, kua tūtuki te mahi moe mai rā. Huri no kia koutou o Maraeroa, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. We are honoured to welcome to the House the descendants of the original owners of Maraeroa A and B blocks, Ngāti Rere Ahu, Maniapoto, Ngāti Raukawa, Ngāti Tūware Toa and other iwi and hapu. Today is a significant day, an opportunity to set the record straight, to acknowledge harms incurred, to put words to an all too familiar legacy of loss and dispossession. This story starts in the midst of the volcanic plateau to the southeast of Te Kuiti. The Maraeroa A and B blocks are a subdivision of the Taupo Nui Aotea West block, which was part of Te Rohe district. Maraeroa is the location of significant wāhi tapu. Within the Maraeroa block rests the eponymous ancestor Rere Ahu, protected in the village of Ngā Herenga. The land is also rich in resources, regarded as a kono kai from which a wide range of food could be harvested for all the iwi of the surrounding districts. Into this lush location came the Native Land Court, and therein lies a history of grave injustice and dispossession. The combined operation of the Native Land Court and Crown purchasing breached the Treaty of Waitangi and was inconsistent with its principles. The Crown failed to ensure the owners of Maraeroa A and B blocks benefited from the sale of native timber on their lands. Survey discrepancies reduced the owners' ability to even manage their own land. Over successive years, the people lost access to their wāhi tapu, ngā wāhi kohinga kai, their cultural resources and materials for construction, such as raupo for building wari. In all, their cultural connection to their ancestral lands were undermined, the lands more susceptible to partition, fragmentation and alienation. Today we face this history and we start a new chapter. This bill marks the beginning of a new relationship with the descendants of the original owners of the Maraeroa A and B blocks. The new era began in September 2008. Draft terms of negotiation were signed with Te Maru o Rere Ahu Trust, and the Crown commenced exploratory work with Ngāti Rere Ahu interests in the blocks. The parties reached an agreed offer in July 2010 and then initialled a deed of settlement in December of the same year. Crown signed the deed of settlement with the descendants of the original owners on the 12th of March 2011 at Pāharakeke. As part of the process of healing and resolution, this bill formalises the Crown's apology, wherein the Crown profoundly regrets and unreservedly apologises to the descendants of the original owners. There is acknowledgement that the Crown and private parties benefited from the milling of the Indigenous forests and that the milling of their forests removed the habitat of Indigenous species. And we learn in no uncertain terms that failure to protect the collective tribal structures had a prejudicial effect on the owners. The settlement bill includes the vesting of 6 sites of cultural and historical significance, $50,000 to purchase land of cultural significance, a high-level partnership agreement with the Department of Conservation over lands within Maraeroa A and B, an overlay classification over Pureora or Kahu, 12 statutory acknowledgements over culturally significant sites on Crown land, 2 official geographic name changes, a financial settlement of $1.8 million, the option to purchase part of Pureora North Crown Forestry licence land and receive the associated accumulated rentals from the Crown Forestry Rental Trust, and the right of first refusal over certain Crown properties. It is always impossible in describing such measures to really understand the impact of these initiatives in helping to shape out a new story for the descendants who will inherit this legislation. The 2 bills together, the Maraeroa A and B Blocks Claim Settlement Bill and the Maraeroa A and B Blocks Incorporation Bill, provide a roadmap for future prosperity and well-being of their people. It has been a long and complex journey since 1884, when the Crown monopoly over purchasing altered the course of history by the sweep of a pen. I want to mihi to the trustees of Te Maru o Rereahu who gave their time, energy and determination negotiating this settlement on behalf of all the descendants of the original owners of Maraeroa A and B blocks. It is especially important to acknowledge Piripi Crown, Brian Stanley and Glenn Katu for their skillful leadership in guiding the negotiations. The legislation has been shepherded through the process due to the efforts of a highly diligent and enthusiastic Minister, the Honourable Chris Finlayson, a constructive chair and efficient Māori Affairs Select Committee, and through the united commitment of this House to move these bills through an expeditious way. Finally, I want to refer to the words of a Nōpera Panakareo, who at the signing of the Treaty of Waitangi in 1840 said, "The shadow of the land goes to Queen Victoria, but the substance remains to us." Less than a year later, he was to say, "The substance of the land goes to the Europeans, and the shadow only will be our portion." Today, we hope that the cycle comes full circle and the substance returns to its rightful owners. I commend this bill to the House.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. The Honourable Parakura.